Amber Lee, I'm so excited to dig into the nitty gritty with you because I know that your journey's been incredible and that you have so much wisdom to impart around your own experiences, creating just incredible success and also coming to some realizations. So, if you could just a little bit dive into and share with us a little bit of your background and from then to now.
Yeah. So when I first started my business, it was just out of a necessity for myself. Like I knew that the only way I was going to heal was by sharing my journey and elevating others. So I was just a hot mess in my 20s, as many of us are. And I was just completely out of balance. And I found through my own journey with healing my chakras that I was able to make these shifts and I was seeing all these manifestations and these miracles happen in my life. And this was back when no one was really talking about this. And to get the information, I was like on YouTube or like reading books, and there was no one that I felt really like resonated or that I felt really understood what I was going through. There was no one who was wearing makeup, and it was like all these like old men in India, bless them, who like invented these things, but it was like it wasn't something that resonated with me. I did not feel understood. And as I continued to see shifts in my own life and my own healing, I was just like, why don't people know about this? Like, why don't my friends know what chakras are? Like, why is this not mainstream? And so I took it upon myself to be like, I'm gonna bring this out. I'm gonna it's cool. I'm going to make it chic. I'm going to let people know that you don't have to fit into a certain box to be considered spiritual. And through doing that, I launched first a jewelry business, which was like crystals and gemstones. And we had like fun little jewelry. Like we had a hangover bracelet and we had a shopaholic bracelet and fun little just kitschy things where people felt like it was relatable, and we were teaching about crystals and chakras and all of those things and healing and ritual. And that really quickly turned into more of a spiritual mentoring. I had lots of people reaching out to me that didn't really care about the jewelry. They were just like, I want to know how you healed your chakra to do this, or how did you do this? And a lot of people wanted to, through doing this work, people find their purpose and they find a calling and they find a desire to support others. And I always say we're put on this earth to help people heal things that we've healed ourselves. People started following in that trajectory where I was healing myself and then wanting to share that. And then they were taking my teachings and healing themselves and wanting to share that. So it really created this beautiful ripple effect. And yeah, our third year in our business, we hit our first 7 figures, and then we just kept going up from there. And it's been really powerful, and lots of transformation has taken place in between. But we were very grateful to have seen that success really quickly because I think there really was a need for it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So, with all of that said, was there a particular moment that you recall that you realized there was maybe something else that was trying to be birthed from you? Or was it like this gradual feeling that maybe this wasn't like completely in alignment for you and that maybe something else was?
Yeah, I've had like two very notable instances. The first one was when I was in our second year of business and we had like almost hit our goal for the year, and we had already hit the goal for the year and we had 2 months left. And there was a part of me that just, it was like this click. Like I had a mentor at the time and she said, okay, like now make your goal bigger. We've got all this time, keep pushing, go further. And there was a part of me that was like, but when is enough? Like, when do I get to enjoy this? When do I get to rest? When do I get to play? And it was just a really big realization. I had just gotten married at the time. And I remember I was hosting a retreat around this time, and I labeled like a whole section of the retreat, our goal is contentment, not ecstasy. And that really sums up how I was feeling, was that we're not meant to be going on this crazy up and down, volatile work, make the money, and then rest for a minute, and then work, make the, it's supposed to be like steady, consistent growth. And the reason I started the business in the first place was because I had, all or nothing tendency, and I still do. And that's why I had to work on my chakras. That's why I had to find balance. And that's always been the pillar of what we help people with. So I realized I wasn't fully in alignment with that. I wasn't living in alignment with that. And just really finding that new way to feel into joy rather than striving for something outside of myself. That was a huge moment. And then the second one I would say is I've been in this kind of like launch then rest mode. And we exceeded all of our financial goals. And then it was just like, I don't care. Like, I literally don't care about the money. Like, how funny is this that my brand, which is all about abundance and spoil yourself, buy the bag, your things can be spiritual too. And it just started being like, but that does not matter. Yes, I believe that having beautiful things and abundance and opulence in your life is an true expression of your soul. And I believe that abundance is spiritual 100%. But when I caught myself in moments doing it from a place of validation, whereas when I do this, I will be seen as successful. When I do this, I will feel successful. I will feel luxurious, but all of that comes from inside. So what we're doing recently, I've retired from any of the mentoring. I've retired from any more like coaching offerings, and we're stripping down to the absolute basics, and everything is just going to be about ritual. And we're setting ourselves up on with an offering that is a ritual app, which is like a low price offering that is, we're going to just offer the same thing all the time, and it's going to be steady, consistent growth and not this all or nothing. And it just feels so much more aligned. So it's always like the lesson of your life, and then inserting that into the business and how you're operating and running things.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much because you and I absolutely align in that spirituality does not have to look like living on the top of a mountaintop somewhere. It can be my fabulous handbag, and also being very mindful and present in my reality. So how do you, in a very like real practical way, how do you take a concept like joy or like alignment and then bring that from this kind of intangible, almost etheric type of thing and bring that into a concrete reality?
I do have a very strong right brain thinking. Part of my life journey is learning how to lean more towards my feminine. So I love like creating a process. I love creating a method. And a lot of, actually, I would say my expertise in my mentoring when I was helping women launch their businesses, a lot of them were launching some kind of like spiritual healing or mentoring or coaching. And my expertise has always been helping people create a method for their clients where they walk them through a transformation. And the way that I always think about it is you want to offer something to the world, and what you're offering is a transformation. So I like to look at what is the point A before they've received the transformation? What is the point B after they've received the transformation? So you're taking them on a journey from point A to point B, and then how are you getting them there? What are the things that they need to do? When you went through this transformation, what were your biggest blocks that were removed? What were the tools that you used? what were the results that you saw in your life when it comes to everything from relationships to finances? And like when you can dissect your own transformation and share from that place, because then that's when it's real, that's when it's authentic. When you're sharing what you've been through and how you went through it and the things that elevated your soul, you're doing it from such an authentic and connected place. So that's the kind of like the way that I break it down, from that kind of linear, like process oriented way, while also incorporating the heart and the soul.
I love that. Can I ask you now, because we're recording this, it's just after the new year, right? And a lot of people have been setting goals, right? And so now that you've had this realization, how do you go about setting goals, if you do at all? And what does success look like to Amber Lee now?
Yes. So I love that you asked this. So one thing that I'm doing this year that's different than any other year is I'm really focusing on incremental growth. And my goal every single day is I just want to be a little bit happier than yesterday, a little bit more joy, a little bit healthier, a little bit more successful, a little bit more abundant, a little bit more present. And I did set goals. My husband and I every year will just be like, okay, what are some things? Who do we want to be? What do we want to have? What do we want to achieve? And we will set those more tangible goals. But for me, what that looks like is every single morning, I'm waking up and I'm thinking of, okay, what am I grateful for in my day yesterday? And how can I just incrementally, like 1% more, take that to the next level? And for me, like that means deepening my rituals, deepening my self-connection, connecting to spirit more. And it can be that extra 5 minutes of exercise, like whatever it is, like just those tiny little things. And that's what matters to me, because setting that big goal and then going for it and then receiving it, that's ecstasy, right? That's that outside validation. For me, I'm like, I would rather measure my success based on presence, based on being there for myself, based on being really mindful and intentional about how I am operating in that moment, in that day. And to me, that's what success is, being present, like being joyful in the moment. The like more joy that you can achieve, the better. And I actually saw, I wish I could credit them, but it was like a friend posted something that another friend posted that someone else posted. But they said, when you're looking at your goals for this year, you're creating your vision for this year, the first thing that you should do before that is you should look at the year that we just had and get clear on what were the things that brought me the most joy, and how can I bring those things into my day more often. And it's little things like cuddling my dog, sipping my coffee. Those are the things where like the serotonin is like, woo, and like going for that like serotonin rather than those dopamine hits. So that's another way to look at it too, is just like bringing in more joy to your every single day. And that doesn't, someone could be making $100,000 a year, someone could be making $30,000 a year and be experiencing more joy in their day-to-day than someone making $75 million a year. So what does the material success matter if we're not in that state of presence and joy?
You're sharing that, I'm going back to the original reason for why I wanted to share the concept of euphoric evolution. Most people think that euphoria is ecstasy, but the original meaning of the word is well-being, right? To me, it's like this positive neutral,
Yeah.
where you are living an embodied experience and then creating from there,
Yeah.
which is going to be, not only are you going to also create whatever quote unquote success is aligned for you, that external experience that is birthed from you, but also you get to enjoy the journey along the way.
Totally.
So to me, it doesn't make sense for us to be so focused on an end result when
Exactly.
life is very short. None of us are promised tomorrow. And what if we all allowed ourselves to create from that place of now?
Yeah. And I would say exactly, euphoria is sustainable. It's a constant. It's not an end goal. It's like we want to live there. And I'm saying joy, you're saying euphoria, like bliss, all of those words. And that's exactly it, that embodiment and that presence.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You know what else is just like popping in my mind? A little realization because both of us do a lot in the spiritual space.
Mhm.
But I do find that so many people found spirituality because they were miserable and then they try and go to this other extreme that is like this ecstasy peak experiences, right? Where you're just basically chasing highs. You
Yeah.
might not be doing it in the
Yeah. Like
typical
almost,
way.
we see that a lot with people that become like addicted to plant medicine, like that kind of like you're like chasing something. I think plant medicine is amazing, but there, when you're basically going from one addiction to another, or from one like obsession to another. And a lot of people use spirituality for that, some people use religion for that, and that's exactly it. It's like there's always like a chasing element, which again, I'm not perfect. I get that way too. Like I get that, like my solar plexus is like grasping, it's like reaching for something that's not there. Like that happens to me, and that's why I do this work.
Yes. You know, what also I think is really important for anyone to note is it's not that like you get to a certain level and you stop having that desire to create more or experience more. That's like it's human to desire more. It's more just about having that consciousness, that awareness when it's happening so that you can pull yourself back into what do I have to be grateful for right now? Where is my joy right now? And how can I tap back into and be in alignment with spirit, source,
Yeah,
as some would
totally.
say God, right? Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. Amberly, is there any last key takeaway that you feel is on your heart that you want to make sure anyone watching this takes away from this
Yeah,
conversation?
another thing that I did this year that I don't usually do is I created not only like a vision for my year, but I created a vision for the new earth. And I looked at all of the different structures that exist, and I just got really clear on, if I were the ruler of the earth, what would I want it to look like? Everything from government to education to food to healthcare to all of those things, because we know a lot of those structures are crumbling and it's scary. And we're everyone's like, I want things to go back to normal. I'm like, I don't. I want things to be a lot more heart centered. So I got really clear on what the new earth looks like to me. And then I started to make those little adjustments. So if I want the healthcare system to operate in a more holistic way, I'm going to take a step in my life and I'm going to go schedule a naturopath appointment. Or if I want the food system to be a certain way, I'm going to buy organic whenever I possibly can, and from like small farms. What are the steps that I can take in my life that are in alignment with that new earth vision that I hold for the entire collective?
Yeah, if we want to create change, it always starts with us
Yeah,
embodying that. And almost to me, I see it as like this energetic vote that you're making that,
exactly.
hey, I stand for organic foods in every grocery store.
Yeah.
And I'm doing that by showing up. Oh my gosh. Amberly, it's been amazing having a chat with you. I, number one, am so inspired, and I know that the work that you're doing because of where it's coming from is going to have the impact, it's going to have the legacy that your soul really desires, and that it won't just benefit you and maybe the people that you're interacting with directly, but that it will have this incredible ripple effect, which we want to have more. We want to have more conscious entrepreneurs doing that.
Yes, we definitely do. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.